Pokemon cards and getting yourself in debt. It's one of the most common problems, yet no one speaks about it. You know, collecting Pokemon cards is meant to be a hobby, right? Yet somehow the enjoyment can be taken away because there's a deeper feeling of like a constant level of dissatisfaction and self-comparison. And there's actually a reason why you feel this way, and the reason for that is explained a little bit later on in this video because I think it's important to give you some context first. So within this video, I want to explain FOMO, you know, the fear of missing out, right? And then why we feel it in the first place, how to avoid it, and just practices you can do to avoid overspending when it comes to Pokemon cards and collectibles. Now, the reason why I feel I can speak about this so openly, right, is because I have spent a lot of money on Pokemon cards over the years, and I've stupidly gotten myself into debt over Pokemon cards because I constantly feel dissatisfied and think, oh, if I buy this now, oh, maybe it can rise more in the future and I'll make a profit. So because of this, I feel like I can comfortably speak about this topic as I have lived experience with it, and then I can empathize if you have done the same, and I don't want others to be making the same mistakes as me. One problem that a lot of people can fall into, right, is A, the feeling that if they don't buy products immediately that they're gonna get sold out, and B, an endless battle with FOMO, this horrible lingering feeling that it's now or never. So in order to not experience the feeling of FOMO, you resort to taking credit card debt or over leveraging yourself on buy now and pay later loans in order to purchase the products you don't want to miss out on. But let's get into the psychology of FOMO, right? You know, fear of missing out. But why do we feel this, right? FOMO derives from a few aspects, though the main driver of FOMO is all to do with self-comparison. That's really the kind of baseline of why we experience FOMO. What you really fear is not actually missing out on buying the card. It's actually the feeling that the product could potentially rise in value, and you fear comparing yourself to someone else who is enjoying something that you could have had if it weren't due to inaction. So to avoid this feeling of self-comparison, you resort to over leveraging yourself as you don't want to feel that. Though something that probably needs to be said is, so if you miss out on some profit, like, so what? Your life won't change that much over a couple of $100. Now also guys, if we haven't met, I just wanted to say hi, I'm Philip. I'm a marketing and video production professional who loves Pokemon collecting and investing. I'm also a father to a beautiful daughter who is my main inspiration in life. This channel features a lot of topics relating to Pokemon collectibles and Pokemon investing, so feel free to subscribe and you'll experience the benefits of staying up to date with the crazy Pokemon market, along with getting some of my life experience along the way. So welcome aboard. Now, when it comes to collecting Pokemon, we usually like to talk about it in a very positive way. Like, I mean, it's a hobby, right? Like, hobbies are positive things. Though there's a lot of collectors, including myself, who have over leveraged themselves when it comes to buying products and also experience the Diderot effect. Now, if you're thinking the what now? I explained the Diderot effect far more in detail in this video here, titled The 3 Skills to Collect Pokemon Cards on a Budget. So feel free to watch that if you want the detailed explanation, right? Though, put simply, the Diderot effect is when one purchase leads into a spiral of consumption that fit within the same category. So in Pokemon collecting terms, let's say you originally wanted to buy one Paldea Evolved booster box, and somehow that purchase becomes not only the booster box, along with the Magikarp Illustration Rare, a Twilight Masquerade booster box, a few Paradox Rift booster bundles, and even more because you couldn't control yourself. I think you get the drill. You see guys, when I actually made my channel, there were 2 things I promised myself, right? First is if I ever got a decent audience size, I would never hide the journey that I've been through. And the second promise I made was the fact that I would do my best to ensure that people who watch and consume my content don't feel like they're missing out, or they don't feel inferior with their collections by engaging with my content. I've never wanted to make the kind of content where it's like, oh, look what I have and you don't. Because, you know, when I used to watch a lot of YouTube and content creators, I did a lot of self-comparison, right? So I would watch, you know, these collectors with incredible collections, and they had these incredible cards and these incredible like sealed collections, right? Envy just filled my soul because I wanted the same. So these creators had cards that I just dreamed of owning, though I noticed that I would leave their channel feeling less of myself, and then I had this urge that I needed to compete, so I'd attempt to buy cards and products that were beyond my means, and then I'd over leverage myself in debt. I'd always be watching what the next new hot set was, or I was trying to anticipate what was going to boom next, and then I'd buy more and more products. The problem I found was that with Pokemon collecting, Yu-Gi-Oh collecting, and all that, it was meant to be an enjoyable hobby for me and an escape. But yet, I always had this feeling that I was one step behind and always chasing like the next big dopamine hit, or chasing how I can improve my collection or get the next big thing. Now, while Pokemon collecting started as something that really helped me during a difficult time in my life, it also made me overspend as I tied a lot of my self-worth and happiness to collecting cards. So because of this, I actually had to take a small break from the hobby for a while to kind of recalibrate and not overspend, as I noticed I was using collecting cards as a coping mechanism for other issues I was dealing with in my life. And if you're feeling the same, I encourage you strongly to take a break from collecting, and it's always incredibly healthy to do so. The issue a lot of us face is that Pokemon products can spike in value with no warning in sight. So from my perspective, I'd feel if I didn't buy the product right away, I'd miss out on potential profits. This led to a lot of consumption that could have been avoided if I learned to manage myself and my budget. There's also a gap that I couldn't find on YouTube with a lot of content creators. A lot of people told each other to buy before it's too late, but no one told you to manage your budget and just enjoy the process. It seemed it was an endless battle of chasing the destination rather than slowing down and just enjoying the journey. So I've had to do a lot of work on myself to not get too caught up in wanting to chase the next big card, but rather just enjoying the journey. Even with my current channel, every day I wake up and I just say how grateful I am to have a community that I've built. I really try focus on enjoying what I have and not wanting this endless cycle of more. Trying to collect every card is incredibly financially irresponsible, and you shouldn't do that. It's funny because nearly every day, right, I get a comment or someone saying, hey Phil, you need to add more Pokemon collections in your background, right? Or, asking, why don't I have more collections in the background where I film? And it's this constant expectation to add more. Though really, what I've really done, and I've worked on myself, is less is more, because I've done so much work on myself to ensure that I don't need to prove myself to others. You see, I used to actually seek a lot of validation from others, right? This was a problem I had. I'd buy a nice expensive car. I'd buy designer shoes. I'd buy nice jewelry, and I'd have this incredible need to show others that I had to be seen in a special way. And then by meeting my partner Chanel, which was like over 7 years ago, she helped me calm down my materialistic ways and focus more on life itself. That's why she's been one of the most important people in my life, as she taught me the value of enjoying life for what it is and being grateful for what I have. And I think it's a really important lesson that I would love to share with a lot of people. The more I learned about the art of wealth creation, the more books I read about money, the more I figured out that there was one secret rule, and that is money talks and wealth whispers. Like, look, I've been able to grow a channel without having thousands of dollars of products in my background. I've focused more on the individual life experiences. So if you ever feel inferior to other content creators, or you feel that you cannot start a channel without showing all of your collection, or feel you can't grow on YouTube without having it all figured out, well, take it from me, none of it matters. No one cares either. You're gonna get yourself in debt to prove something to others when in fact, no one really cares. And this is where the uncomfortable truth of Pokemon collecting comes in. A lot of people who dabble within this hobby get themselves in a crazy amount of debt. Trust me, it's not uncommon. It is far more common than you think. Though, not just buying cards, but also attempting to chase the most expensive cards by ripping packs. Now, when you do this, you create a lot of problems for yourself, both financially and emotionally. And this really crosses into a level of gambling, and it's not that different to gambling at all, actually. Here's the thing, guys. When you watch a content creator opening packs, it's a completely different game for them. And why is that? Because the person who runs a successful YouTube channel gets paid from their video to open those packs. So they've already tipped the odds in their favor. Not only can they pull an expensive chase card from ripping open the packs, but they also get paid to do it. So if you're watching content creators opening packs, they are always in a win-win situation. If they pull a chase card, they win. If they don't, they still win because their video gives them a payday. So content creators who rip packs are always in a win-win game. And this is actually one of the rules from the incredible book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Do you know what rule number 4 is? It's always think win-win in life. So if you're watching a YouTuber with like 300,000 subscribers opening packs, they are winning even if they don't hit their chase cards. The revenue they earn from their channel already paid for the booster box and more. So they essentially get to open packs without any drawbacks. It's a pure winning game. So, if you're watching creators rip packs and then you decide to do the same, just remember that you're not playing the same game. There needs to be a level of awareness you have to ensure that you do not fall into this trap. As anyone who has watched my channel, I don't want anyone to feel like a level of self-comparison with me. Don't feel that, you need to compare yourself with me, or if you see I pull a chase card on my pack, that you need to do the same. I've got flaws. I have to work on these daily. I struggle with a lot of things every day, and I have to navigate life, and then I have to just battle with a lot of things on the day-to-day. Yes, I make content that others enjoy, but I also have to make sure I'm being a good father. I also have to make sure that I'm not slipping up as a partner, and I also need to make sure that I manage my budget properly. Throughout the years, I have learned some invaluable skills, though probably the best skill I have learned throughout all these years can be viewed on the screen right here within this video here. In this video, I uncover the art of not being swayed too much by pop reports and just skills in learning to manage expectations when it comes to Pokemon collecting. If you love Pokemon products but also struggle with impulsive spending, then this video will be pretty valuable to you. Click that video on screen, guys, and we'll talk more about it there.